So very quickly, you two became known as the party bus. So when we were preparing for the coming days chemotherapy, and we saw you two on the schedule, we'd say, "Yay, the party bus is coming!" And we could hear you come in.
Double trouble.
Tell the truth, did you have to have extra staff for that day?
No, we just kind of had to look at our population.
You know, actually, you guys, what I remember about both of you is, you know, the chemotherapy room is the last place anybody wants to find themselves.
Yeah.
They're in shock, they're scared, and it's clinical. It seems like not a fun place to be, but you guys bring in this energy, positivity. You guys are so good at reaching out to other patients, mothering them a little bit, encouraging them, giving them hope, sharing your experiences, and that's what I truly remember.
But we
about
got
you.
that from you. That
Oh.
trickled down from the staff. The minute I walked in and I realized that people didn't just smile and, like, you know, ask you your medical stuff, but they would offer you a hug if they saw you, like, you know, and I'm a hugger. I mean, can you tell? From the very first visit, even before the visit, knowing that a whole group of doctors was going to meet and convene and decide the protocol together. Talk about little old me, you know?
That's crazy.
And then on the drive over here, I get a phone call from the doctor. Who does that? From her cell phone.
We try to
And it
always
makes a
remember
difference.
that when you arrive here, before you came here, you had a full life. We have moms, business owners, judges, lawyers, doctors who have a life, and that this doesn't have to define them, and you two totally epitomize that, of embracing something that is not good, something you did not want, but making the most out of it and saying, what can we take forward with us? What can we pass on as a legacy to others who come behind us? And you guys really taught us that, we learned a lot about resilience and hope and faith. And because although we do this every day of our lives, we've never been diagnosed with cancer. So as much as we can understand, we don't understand the way you understand. And so it's always humbling to us. So we have 6 chairs in this room, and what happens first is the patient will see the provider and be cleared for chemotherapy that day, deal with any toxicities, assess the overall health status to see if they're safe to get their chemotherapy treatment. At that point, they come to our infusion room straight from the doctor's office visit and choose where they'd like to sit. And before you know it, every seat is full. And they may have labs that we need to draw, you know, different assessments that we make in here. But from once they sit down, it's time to start the IV, get the medications mixed, and start the chemotherapy treatment.
And that's the technical aspect of it.
Yes.
But the not so technical aspect of it is just the fact that this is like your little haven for a few hours, whether you're here for an hour and a half or here for 6.5 hours or whatnot. And we try to make you comfortable and warm. And like you said, you know, we try to meet you where you are, whatever your needs are at that time. Some people have a higher need for attention and interaction and touching, and some people are more reserved. Look at see, I'm talking. Guilty. But the thing is we meet you where you are and try to convey to you in our words and our actions right away that this is not doom and gloom. This is a pretty benign process. The actual process of getting the chemotherapy, the hardest part is starting the IV. As far as usually that's the most. We give you wonderful pre-medications, try to keep your symptoms at bay, at least while you're here and shortly afterwards. And then it becomes, you know, it's a very intimate setting, and then it becomes, I'm here with you, and I'm starting your IV, or I'm getting your port. I'm in your face. I'm getting to know you and about you, and it just, it's more like family. Like I said,
Oh yeah, we're sharing with each other. I got to know, you know, about your family, about, you know, your lovely kids, and what makes you guys tick, and you wanted to get to know me as a person, not as a cancer patient, you know. So that's why the shenanigans worked, and we could play with each other, and it kind of, I mean, I know this is going to sound twisted, but some days it was almost like spa day. I knew I could come to chemo, and I was going to be accepted for who I was. You guys were going to pamper me with a little warm towel, put a little heating pad, and I know that you try to snag me my first class seating. I refused to get a port. So every time I came for how many weeks? weeks.
Yeah.
That was a long
year and a
time,
half.
over a year and a half. They had to draw me every time, and sometimes that would take
A while.
5 times because of me, because I'd forget and drink a bunch of coffee and right up and be all.
I would be like, wait a minute, did you drink the coffee?
Drink your water. Drink your
Oops!
water.
Yeah.
It's really fast. Does that matter? Oh, it's still not going to be good. So, for anyone who doesn't know, caffeine, restricts the
Restricts the
right.
veins.
So it
But
makes
you
it
can have it
almost
after
impossible.
you, right
Just
afterwards.
get in,
There's
get
a
it
nice
in
little
line.
machine over
Right.
there.
Tamara's first visit was her second visit.
And I was already in timeout. I was in the timeout chair over there for being too loud.
But this was meant to, this energy was meant to meet because she was here having a reaction to her chemotherapy on her very first visit.
So my daughter, thank God, was the one that, because I had a similar reaction, not as bad as she did.
Yeah.
So she knew something was up. So she called it, because you guys were busy. This place was happening that day.
It was Christmas Eve, and I had one of my worst side effects, and I had left a message. Do you know that you called me? I'll never forget it. You called me at 8 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve because I thought I was going to have to be just dead in my bed because of the side effect, right? And you actually called, and then you not only did that, you called around to the pharmacies because we live in a whole different area. There's not as many pickings,
Yeah.
And you found the one pharmacy to get them and said, yes, someone will be there to pick it up. And you did not go home for your own Christmas before you did that.
I didn't remember that.
And, towards the end of my Herceptin, my mom was dying. And I'm really horrible with names, but your name, Karen, it was like the thing. And so then I got to know you, and as my mom was going through all this, and you were so helpful. You like you were saying, it's all about you. Well, you were, yeah. And then and your personality is so much in line. I remember thinking, almost like, okay, I want to go back and talk with Karen. I want that experience because of the fact that I just felt this connection. And then when we continued, you kept asking how I was doing and stuff, and it was just, and I wasn't even the patient in the chair; I was the driver.
Yeah, the party bus.
Yeah, the party bus. This is not a scary place at all. It's a place that now coming back, we're seeing friends and family.
It's a healing place.
Exactly. Yep.
It's a place of love. It's a place of healing. There's a special quietness about it, stillness about it, but energy at the same time. And that's a tough, yeah.
And it's just a road stop on
It is.
your journey.
Yeah,
It's just-
exactly, and a good one, because I can honestly, from the bottom of my heart, tell you I am a better person for going through this experience. And it may sound twisted to somebody, that I am thankful that I had cancer, because had I not been through the difficulty, I had not met so many special women that we would just chit chat about their life story, not about their cancer, about their fortitude, about their just valiant bravery, and it inspired me. I saw these women, older than me, if you can believe it, that had been battling for 20 years off and on, and they're just, drinking coffee too, just kicking back and chatting. So sitting about, talking about what's wrong with something, or, what could be better or whatever. That's why we tried so hard in here to have you serve champagne, but we never.
We even brought it.
We brought it and you wouldn't uncork it. But
drink it, so we know
but
it's
I
from
think,
under
a little back massage while you're getting an infusion, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think you can make better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're nearly perfect here. We just need a couple of tweaks and we're there. What do you think?
You guys are so funny. I love it.
Pedicures? Oh no, we can't do our nails during. Yeah, we can't do our nails during
We
chemo.
can file though.
Oh well.
Bring your own
File and
brand new
paint.
stuff.
Yeah.